Hi, this is Nick Guido, and I'm doing my video update for onboarding 5 through 8. So the first thing I did, once I had a hospital run up and running, just kind of poked around, went through each one of these tabs. Um, so, for example, I went over here into the Patients tab, um, and then, as you can see here, I actually added in a new patient to make sure that that was working. If I click over here on the new patient tab, um, I noticed here actually that the field where we enter in the sex was still um, just a field where you can type anything in as opposed to the radio button. I know that one of the links in the onboarding later on is Josh giving a tutorial of how to change that, so I thought that would be a good place for me to start. Just diving into the code. And then as far as all the rest of these tabs, I just kind of clicked through and checked the functionality of it, and like added in schedules and whatnot. Just went through each one of these, and then after I did that, went through and kind of read about the different components of all the softwares that we're using. So I learned a little bit about CouchDB. So that's a open source database software. That uses JSON to store data and JavaScript as the query language. I guess we're using this for two main reasons. One of the reasons would be the fact that it um, can talk straight from your web browser directly to the database, so the communication is streamlined and kind of takes away the need for a conversion layer between the database and the front end. The second reason is that it allows for synchronization between different databases. So if I have multiple databases in different areas, through two-way replication, I can have the multiple databases be synchronized with one another. Um, Another cool feature about CouchDB is PouchDB, which is like the local version of Couch, and so it allows the software of the database to run offline, and then if your machine then goes back online, then you can synchronize it to the global database. Um, I also learned a little bit about Ember.js, which is written in Node.js, and it's specifically designed for software development of websites. And so it has cool features, like automatically setting up routes generated to files, and automatically connecting to CouchDB, and it sets up modules in such a way that you have a route and a template and a controller all set up in a little area, and they're connected to one another. So that the whole Ember.js was confusing, but I went through a lot of the tutorial. Um, as you can see here, I went through all of these, and I've been doing the super rentals tutorial. I've been using Sublime, edit the files, and just kind of follow along with what they're doing, and then been running the rest of the commands in the command prompt. So honestly, going through this gave me a lot better of an idea of how Ember works, and I think that as I get into the code a lot more, I'll probably be able to get a much better understanding for it. Um, and then so went through Josh's tutorials where I learned how the code is set up. So I'll be using this IDE. So if we go here, most of the code is going to be in the app. So I can go to something like here, appointments. And appointments, there's going to be the route.js, which will get you there. And then within the appointment, there's all these sub tabs like calendar and delete and edit and index. And these all are going to have a controller a route and a template. So the controller here will be the JavaScript code, which is kind of like the logic behind what's going to be going on. The route is where it is, and then the template is the front end, so what the user is going to see. So this is in the handlebar syntax. And then for things like delete, these are going to be, let's see here. So yeah, delete would be an example of a class that is inheriting from another class. So you can see up here, abstract delete controller dot extend. So that was another thing that Josh pointed out in his videos, just being aware of what's inheriting from what, and keeping track of that could make coding a lot easier. Yeah, and then I went through and kind of touched up on some JavaScript. I remember quite a bit of it, but went through a little more of the Codecademy just to make sure I was good on that. And then also read about the Ember modules and the way that Ember sets up the different files that are all put together that have like one unified goal. And so yeah, I learned about that. And yeah, I think that's about it for this video.